That's it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, thank you, Chloe. Just like to welcome everyone to the Sandwich Town Council Planning Committee meeting for September. I'd also like to welcome Sophie, our new town clerk. Welcome to your first committee meeting.
Thank you very much.
One of
You're very welcome.
Thank you. I just want to remind members that we generally speak once on the topic and twice at the chairman's discretion. Okay? Okay. So we start with item 1. Apologies for absence received.
We've received apologies from Councillor Fortescue for travel commitments, but in his place we've had Councillor Ian Black.
Okay, thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of disposable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda.
Mine isn't pecuniary, but I'm very close to one of the sites we're going to be talking about, and I declared my pecuniary interest 2 meetings ago. I have a dispensation to talk about this, but tonight my comments are not going to be about pecuniary issues, but I'm nevertheless declaring an interest.
Yeah, I think also sometimes when people contacted Dover District Council, I think sometimes it's not quite sure if they can actually take part in the debate. They declared what's the word for it?
Predisposition.
They've got a predisposition. They've already written letters to Dover District Council.
Those aren't in our standing orders,
Right.
and that's
We're supposed to come in with open minds, aren't
Yes. I am coming in with an open
we?
mind.
Yeah.
I merely
We always recommend do it through the town council, don't send individual letters off.
I'm sorry, you've lost me there.
Well, because you're prejudging the outcome.
I'm not prejudging the outcome at all. I haven't even spoken.
No, I'm just saying it's when people have written to the district council, it's already comes up.
Chair, what I would say is this is an item that's returning, so I think in this case we probably don't have too much of an issue because we've already discussed it more than once.
That's
So,
right, yeah.
so I wouldn't be too worried about an input because I'd be very surprised if we change our view in terms of, because nothing material has changed.
No, we're only consultants, aren't we?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yeah? It's just a consultative committee doing a recommendation.
You must, Mr. Chairman, you must remember that anybody that's already pre-objected on the Dover District Council website shouldn't be voting.
Yeah.
That is the correct law.
Again, it's not in our standing orders.
It's in
It is not in our standing orders.
All right, councillor, all right. If it's not in our stand, we'll move on. So as it's in
Exactly.
Dover District's stand and it's not in ours, we'll
It's
move
not Dover
on.
District.
Okay, we'll leave it up to the members how they vote. I'm not forcing anyone to vote or not to vote. It's up to the individual member to vote. And I will say that previously when there was an estate and we used to leave the room and it covered me because there was a dispute on the estate and they kept coming to the town clerk's office and they went through all the agendas and every time they went to the agenda, they saw I wasn't even in the room. So it just covers you personally if you don't comment, but it's up to the individual councillor.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that's item 3. Minutes of the Planning Committee. To approve the minutes of the Planning Committee held on Monday the 11th of August 2025 and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. Attachment 1.
I'm happy to propose them unless.
Yeah, so to approve the amended minutes of the Planning Committee.
So do we have a seconder for that?
So, we've got a proposal, we accept the minutes, seconder. We've got 2. Yeah, there's 2 abstentions.
Two abstentions.
Thank you. Item 4, public participation.
So we've just got the revised minutes to approve as well, which is.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And we're to approve the amended minutes as well, attachment 2. Okay.
Propose the amended minutes.
Second, I think we're the same again, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Item 4, public participation. A 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect of the business on the agenda. Individual representation should not exceed 5 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak, together with the topic to address, must be given to the town clerk at least 4 hours in advance of the meeting.
I've received no requests.
Okay, 1.5. I'll go to you, Chloe, did you want?
Yes, just to say that apologies, items 5I and 5J, we discussed them in the August meeting, so we won't be discussing them tonight. Also, the withdrawn application 25/00935, this was withdrawn, but thank you, Mr. Annery, when you raised this, I checked with Dover District Council, and they actually reopened the application but amended it, and it's now part repoint or front elevation. So I've highlighted that in the agendas that I provided you this evening, so you can see that.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Planning application 25/00970, proposal erection of a single-storey front and rear extension, existing sunroom to be demolished, location 28 Watson Lee Sands, CT 13 9JF.
I'm happy to propose approval of this planning application. The rear extension backs onto the railway,
Yeah,
and the front one is just for additional porch space. So
the porch, you know.
it's, I'm quite happy to approve, afford approval.
Yeah, no. Oh, I'll second it. We're in favour of the,
Support.
Support.
support the application, yeah. B, planning application 25/00665, amended application, proposal, outline planning application with all matters reserved except access for 45 market and affordable dwelling, 66-bed care home with provision of main vehicular access to Deal Road, emergency cycle and pedestrian access to Dover Road, estate roads, parking, residential and community open space and landscaping, 0.08 hectare parcel to be transferred to Sandwich Technology School for use as a sports beach. Location, land on the northeast side of Deal Road, Sandwich, CT 30 0BY. Councillor Black.
Thank you. I've got three things I want to talk about in relation to this. We are asked as a town council to comment on access because it's one of the issues there. There's two parts to access. I'll talk about the simpler one first, pedestrian emergency vehicle access to and from the site on Dover Road. The proposal is to use that roadway between 80 and 82 for Dover Road. This is an agricultural lane at the moment. The situation, there are two houses there and two houses currently being constructed. The proposal is that bollards be set up to make this only an emergency access route plus cycling and pedestrians. The unfortunate thing is they are proposing to put the two bollards right at the Dover Road entrance, which means you're going to block off 4 houses unless you have some means to allow them access. The difficulty, if you also put the bollards there, is that you're going to prevent any deliveries, etc., occurring. I would suggest, I mean, the local residents are very unhappy about that being used at all and having any bollards, but I've said to them, look, there are going to be bollards, otherwise it will become a rat run, but suggest that the bollards be moved to where the gate is, the current gate onto the farmland. That would allow access to the 4 houses, and that strikes me as a much more practical solution. It's going to be an access route, it's for emergency vehicles, and it's for cyclists and so on. That strikes me as far more practical. That's my first point.
Yeah.
The second point is much more complicated. The access onto Deal Road. I've given my background, you'll understand why I've read the traffic issues in great detail. The TRICS traffic calculations are on pages 76 to 86 of the final paper. These indicate a morning peak of 490 vehicle movements per hour in each direction along Deal Road, and about 530 vehicles per hour from 8:45 to 0900. Evening peaks are less, 330 to 390 in each direction, with 420 at 5:30. Now, the TRICS data says 27% of departing site traffic will turn left, i.e. go into Sandwich. Some of that may be rat run, some of it may be people just going into Sandwich. 73% will turn right across 2 lanes of traffic. That's not an easy exit. To date, the developers and Kent County Council don't seem to have seen any issues with that. But the full significance of the reference site chosen for tricks is unknown. There's a very large school, less than 100 metres from there, plus the leisure centre, plus the pull-in for all the school buses, plus a service bus stop, all on that side of the road, which will impact upon the sightlines. This is not mentioned in a single document by the developer or by Kent County Council. Those of you who know that road will understand just how difficult it can be in the morning. And unless you have some form of parking and waiting management on the approaches to the school, you'll have an additional problem with parents trying to park in the estate, waiting to collect their kids or parking there to drop off. There is also no pedestrian crossing proposed at the exit from this site, and yet you've got all the school kids going backwards and forward. Then we know how much attention school kids pay to traffic. So I think it's going to be an extremely difficult situation unless they do something. There was a site safety visit at noon on a Friday when there's hardly any traffic there, which, fair enough, they've done it, but you can look at the hours and say, is this the most appropriate time? Finally, road traffic flows like water. If Deal Road becomes too congested, there's a significant risk that parents will pick up and drop off from the Dover Road school entrance, and some do so already. So there is a big problem with the traffic. Now, the whole document has been reissued, and the expiry date for complaints, comments, etc., is now the 3rd of October, because there have been so many objections by some statutory objectors, plus people in Sandwich. The proposal is that 0.8 of a hectare is given to the school as a playing field. When you look at the details, it says it is for the school and for education purposes. The proposal that has just come out is to have 12-metre high floodlighting working until 10 o'clock at night, which will floodlight a good part of Dover Road, Stone Cross Lees, the 4 houses there, and a lot of people will be affected by that, let alone the noise, let alone the parking, unless they have only allow access from the leisure centre coming off Deal Road. Now, a lot of residents now are extremely concerned about this lighting, which has only just appeared this week. 12 metres high, and why does it need to be available until 10 o'clock at night? That is leisure centre, that is not school. Those are the 3 points which I think this committee needs to take cognizance of.
Just a couple of observations. The leisure centre, or basically the sports field, and the home, I'm not sure quite how best to describe it, the sort of 66-bed home there. Swap them round and you start to solve some problems. So it was just an observation on the design. I think it's poorly designed because it's pushing the irritating area towards existing residents on Dover Road. Move that leisure area, the sports field with the lights onto the Deal Road, and you take away that a lot of that problem. The other area of concern is with regard to the exit. Having used, delivering and taking things away from the school, I do tend to arrive on the school side of the road and I leave on the school side of the road because it's not nice crossing that road, and that's my experience of it. That being the case, while the perception and the design says that people will turn right, 70% or so turning right, I think there'll be a tendency to turn left into Sandwich, using Sandwich as a rat run, and looking, as we have been looking at pedestrian access on the toll bridge, we're just going to have even more traffic using that toll bridge. So I'm looking at it in terms of, I would rather have some way, possibly a roundabout, that allows people to access and turn right onto the bypass, which is, to take people away from Sandwich, rather than leave it as it is, which invites people to turn left and just exacerbate the problems we already have. That's right.
Yeah, a little button roundabout might be out, because slow the traffic down as well, wouldn't it?
It's simple, not expensive, and it'll make it so much nicer for everybody.
The slow people come down into Sandwich.
And it will slow people down.
Councillor Wells, do you want to say? Sorry, do you want to speak?
Yeah, just a couple of points. I mean, we've already made an objection to the proposal. I hear what Councillor Black says about the access, and I can understand that, but KCC Highways are saying it's broadly acceptable.
Yeah.
But going back to the local plan, what the local plan says is that there shouldn't be any vehicular access from the Dover Road. But the plan indicates that there will be emergency vehicular access. I'm not sure how that fits with the criteria in the local plan. The local plan also says it should be indicative capacity of 60 dwellings. We've now got 105 dwellings if you count the 60-bed care home as dwellings. I'm just looking at the government guidance on the definition of a dwelling, and it is a building or part of a building. Its distinctive characteristics is its ability to afford to those who use it the facilities required for day-to-day private domestic existence, namely bathroom and kitchen facilities, a place to rest and sleep. Now, it's not clear from the application what how this care home will be set up. Is it personal care? Is it just a room? Is it a room with an ensuite? Is it a room with an ensuite and kitchen facilities? It's not clear. So, on the face of it, if we assume that the definition of a dwelling in this, then we're talking about a big overdevelopment of the site compared to what's in the local plan. So that would be my main objection, and that was something that the earlier consultee response picked up.
I should imagine the bollards are going to put in it like at Black Lane, off St Barts, when you go back, come to St Barts and go up towards the back of that new development there.
Yeah.
They put wooden bollards in there
Yes.
which can be lifted out.
Yeah.
I believe the proposal is to have ones that can go up and down.
Yeah.
Whether they're easily lift up. I mean, let's face it, emergency vehicles will just lift and chuck them up.
They're notoriously difficult.
Okay.
Just as a follow-on from Councillor Wells' comments about dwellings and kitchen facilities, my personal view is that
Okay.
thank you. Yeah, the care home's kitchen would apply to each individual because that's where they get their meals from. So that would be my definition of a kitchen as a dwelling.
A separate dwelling. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the drawings now as we speak, so that road and Dover where it says there quite clearly that there's going to be this emergency access only, so there'll be bollards, like ones in Potter Street probably, ones that they can lift out
Yeah.
by the Kent Farmer School and the Embassy Service have a key,
Yeah,
so it's a special called number 1 key. Regarding the speeding down Gill Road, this council has put into place the highway improvement plan to lower the speed limit from 40 to 30 on that road as well, so to make that point.
Nobody takes advantage of it.
Well, I'll put that.
So, Councillor Conte.
I am, Mr. Chairman. It's very good to discuss all these different matters, but obviously from a planning point of view, we can only ascertain the information and make a decision on the information that's actually in this planning application. So because it's an amended one, it is treated as a new application, but we do have to be subjective to what's there.
We could recommend the bollards by the gate.
They were always going to be demountable bollards. Since 2015, there was always going to be demountable bollards to allow emergency access, pedestrian access and so that's for 10 years.
The only thing is, Councillor Carter, if they're there with people going in and out their houses, I mean, every time they go in and out their houses, they've got to take the bollards out. So,
Yeah, they were supposed to be further down, it's
Further
obviously an oversight on the
I
planning,
thought it further down by the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, that would work.
but that's a good observation.
Good observation.
But we need to make a decision on the planning application
Yeah,
in front of us,
that's right.
not on any things that we would like changed.
So, what, any other proposition? Last time we objected to it, didn't we?
So the comments that last time we rejected it on Monday, the 14th of July, the application has moved away from the initial proposal that was adopted by in the Dover District Council local plan, and that includes a 66-bedroom residential care home. This will have other considerations such as traffic generation and infrastructure, including public drainage and systems.
We follow our other guidelines to object to
I
it.
mean, the council, we've made a comment before, so we could just
Be consistent with that.
continue the same comment.
I think, hang on.
Sorry?
I don't know. Do you want to say something? After you drained up.
I thought, yes, there was a decision was made to object.
Yeah.
The bit that we did not discuss and that is specifically asked for in this is the access, because that's not a reserved matter. The other matters, I agree, are reserved, but the access is specifically not reserved. And my hope was that we are able to take a view forward on the 2 points of access. The bollards bit, I think, is not a substantial one, but the other one is very substantial. And I suggest that this committee should be commenting upon it, given the volumes of traffic which comes from the detailed report, the Trix report. Believe me, it's better than sleeping towns trying to read that thing.
But I think we're sort of covered by Kent County Council holidays, aren't we? And they're limited to the Council Arms.
I think the problem with this application is the care home is a big property, it's a big footprint. But from the application, it's not clear what they mean by care. Is it sheltered housing where people are living independently, in which case they might have cars and coming and going? Or is it a care home for people who have high dependency, who are just living in a
Just staff colours.
room with maybe not even an ensuite?
Yeah.
So if it's the former, then we're talking about 111 dwellings effectively on a site that's set aside for 60 dwellings. But if it's the latter, then to some extent that creates less traffic flows than a 60 home.
So I think in terms of KCC highways are not immune to making mistakes. We have challenged on other applications regards their view in terms of, I can recall Paradise Rose, a very good example. So there are ways in which we as a council, particularly as we're local residents, have a view and we should feed in that view. So at the moment, the comments, if we just take forward what we presented last time, is too broad, too light to actually point out the issues. And I would side with Councillor Black in terms of the concerns about the KCC surveying was up at the wrong time. And I don't think they've really taken into account the whole context. And if they did that and they then decided they were still happy with it, then that's fine. But at the moment, I think taking a survey at noon on a Friday is not the best time. And we have enough intelligence, and it's been flagged up by Councillor Black about the traffic flow. I personally have less of a concern about the exit and access on Dover Road because of how that's going to be controlled. For me, it's the Deal Road is a significant issue.
I would agree with that. It's much more complicated. I'm happy to supply all of these details to the clerk, because obviously I've spent many a happy hour going through the detail of.
So, register a strong objection to this plan, overdevelopment in many places.
I think we still have, sorry if I'm allowed to come back, we still have a standing objection on the overdevelopment because it isn't in line with the local plan. We haven't had that answered, but that is a very broad statement, and Dover District Council could easily just say, actually, we're comfortable with the change of proposal. It's the detail is the key thing that we need to challenge on, because the consequence of overdevelopment is greater traffic on the road. And I think for me, that's the issue that needs to be resolved.
think, Mr. Chairman, sorry, could I just ask, because with the, going forward with a comment such as overdevelopment, sites actually flagged up to take 60 new dwellings, and we're only having 44 on there.
44.
So I heard what Councillor Wiles said,
Yeah.
but until we get the feedback on the care home, we shouldn't really be saying it's overdeveloped
No.
until we know what the usage is of the care home. Because they're going to laugh at us. They're going to say, well, you're meant to have 60 homes there and you're only going to have 45. So if we say it's going to be overdeveloped when they're actually putting 15 houses there,
Staff on at the time, aren't they?
what we should be doing is highlighting what Councillor Black has raised to do with the access on Deal Road.
Yeah.
And what Councillor Wiles has raised about what type of care home it is that's going to be put on site. Those are the things we should be
I
asking.
would say a 66 bed residence care home is significant in terms of 45 homes plus 66 residents in a care home is an issue that we should be flagging up, because Dover do need to look at that seriously and make a judgment if they find it acceptable, and it will be their decision ultimately, but we should be flagging that up as a concern.
Another matter about care home is that maybe 66 beds, but it's going to have an equivalent number of staff.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
They'll
that's
be
the whole
arriving
point,
by the.
Yeah, I mean, there might be just residential, it might be like 12 staff on at a time. There's that.
Because my wife's a social work, was a social work manager, just to clarify, all accommodation now needs to have ensuite bathroom.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to have an ensuite kitchen, it does have to have ensuite bathroom. The traffic development did take account of the large numbers of cars, service vehicles, delivery trucks and everything else that is in it. But you've got to look in the detail. But it generates as much traffic, if not more, than the 45 houses. And the problem is it's also at the conflicting time. Well, everyone's trying to get out. The service trucks are trying to get in.
So what's our grounds for it? We're going to object to it then? Is that in the case?
I propose that we do object to it again, because nothing materially has changed. We've got some more detail in terms of the KCC report. We've still got questions about it, I would object, but I think some of the detail, particularly around the Deal Road issues, should be flagged up to make it in more detail of our response. That would be my proposal.
I mean, it's like being asked to give outline permission for, a power plant. And then you find out later it's a nuclear power station.
Yeah, we did ask them more knowledge, I think, about the care home, I think, didn't we? At the meetings 2 months ago.
I would support Councillor Zuka's proposal.
So sorry, can I just clarify for the minutes then, what's the exact wording of your objection?
What?
If I understand, Sandwich Town Council has already objected
Yes.
to the change from the original.
Yeah.
In addition, we have strong objections to problems of access onto and off Deal Road. Now, I can give you some figures tomorrow if you need to amplify that, because I've done the research. But I would propose that's the sort of thing that we want to say. The other part are, they're not big items. So that would be my proposal, sort of words to that effect, but I'm happy to come and talk to you.
Do you want to mention the inadequacy of the survey?
I can do, again, that's the detail.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've got a proposer then?
Councillor Chuka?
Yeah, I've got a second.
Second.
You all in favour that we turn this application down?
Object.
We've got one objection. One objection. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Item C. Planning application 25/00924, proposal removal of chimney. Location Witches Brew, 29 Church Street, St Mary Sands, CT 30 9HR. I better look at that, you can't even see it from the road, can you?
Yeah, exactly. You can't really see it from the road. Also, this chimney, you can see from the photographs that have been taken, it's in pretty bad state.
Yeah.
It's a eyesore blue colour, which
Yeah.
doesn't fit in with
Rendered, isn't it?
the rest of the property.
Mm.
And it's in pretty poor condition, so it's actually a danger to the other heritage buildings either side.
Mm.
So I would propose that we support this application and get that chimney down before it falls down this winter.
And I think that it's leaking in the roof as well, the
It
flashing's
is.
gone.
That's
That
correct.
vent's gone. Yeah. Well, I'll second that, okay?
My proposal.
Yeah, all in favour of that? Yeah. Approve this application. 100%. Thank you. D. Planning application 25/00964. Proposal, reserved matters application for the details of access, appearance, landscaping, layout and scale pursuant to application 14/00058 outline application for the redevelopment of site to include demolition of some existing buildings and associated infrastructure, change of use some existing buildings from B1 to uses classes B2, B8, sui generis, energy and D1 uses. The provision of new commercial uses class A3/4, B1, B2, B8, C1, D1 and sui generis and residential use class C3 development. Associated site preparation, enabling infrastructure and landscaping works and provision of car parking. Location Discovery Park, House, Ramsgate Road, Sandwich. If you remember, it was a big old office block there, wasn't it? And I think it's a manufacturing plant there, or processing plant, so it's a brownfield.
I may have misread it, but I thought 965 and 964 in practice go together.
They do.
They do.
So I'm just trying to be helpful. I think my reading of 965 is they want to increase the height of the building to put an extra story on. Whereas 964 is they want to put a couple more buildings on.
Well, I should do them separate.
They are separate
They are separate
applications.
Separate
Yeah.
applications, even though they're related. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll be guided by you folks.
Yeah.
One of them's actually access,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that one's height.
yeah. So it's down there, isn't it? And it's all about work.
As you know, Mr. Chairman, from many, many years back, any comments we make on Discovery Park are only advisory
That's
anyway.
right. Yeah.
So even if you wanted to object against this,
You remember by the planning, isn't it?
it would be discluded anyway. So I would say that we should support it in the fact that it will be it's taking housing out of the actual town centre area, which is out over the other side, Monk's Way. And as they said in their application, it's going to bring in an extra 200 jobs.
Yeah.
For the commercial units that they're putting in. So I'd be quite happy to propose that we support this application.
I second that, okay. All in favour of this? I've got one attention, two abstentions. Okay, thank you. Item E, planning application 25/00779, proposal, erection of side extension 80 with first floor mezzanine for office use, subdivision existing building for use of manufacturing steel frames and erection of 2.5 fence and entrance gate. Location Winters Yard, Ramsgate Road, Sandwich City 39 LY.
It's just a continuation of what is already there. They're just extending the massive, great big barn that they've already got there,
Yeah.
and they're putting up new 2.5 metre fencing.
Yeah.
But it's on Sandwich Industrial Estate, so
Stuck round the back, innit?
it is, yeah, right round the back by the Crystal Business Centre. So
Anyone else? Okay, comment?
it will bring extra jobs and
Yeah.
more to our
So I'd like
economy.
to propose we accept that.
You approach that one.
Seems reasonable.
I'll second it then.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favour? Okay, thank you. Item F, plan application 25/00965, proposal variation condition 1, approved drawings and document schedule of planning permission 14/00058 for outline application for the redevelopment of site to include demolition of some existing buildings and associated infrastructure, change of use from existing buildings from B1 to use classes B2, B8, sui generis, energy and D1 uses. The provision of new commercial uses, A3/4, B1, B2, B8, C1, D1 and sui generis and residential use, class C3, development associated site preparation, enabling infrastructure and landscaping works, and provision of car parking with some matters reserved to allow change to the approved development schedule and an increased height limit for development zone 7, locations Discovery Park House, Ramsgate Road, Sandwich, Kent City 39 ND.
Yeah, once again, Mr. Chairman, this is development zone 7,
Yeah.
which is all the buildings land on the right-hand side of
Yeah.
Ramsgate Road.
Yeah.
So it's already developed with quite large buildings on it.
Yeah.
So you won't see much change from what's already there.
Especially that power station there as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's tall, high.
Yeah, so I'm quite happy to propose that we support this.
Well, no comments? No, I second it. Oh, we go to vote. Go on, thank you. Item G, planning application 25/00850, proposal 1 metre reduction in height, crown bit by 2 metres, and prune back laterals to provide 1 metre clearance around telephone pole lines of 1 horse chestnut T1, the subject of tree preservation order number 9 of 1999, location Stoney Close in Garden Sandwich, Kent.
I'd like to suggest that you object to this one. This tree is a magnificent specimen of the horse chestnut, and I feel that the protection of it should take priority over the wishes of people who want to park beneath it. And if the telephone lines are a problem, then maybe they ought to be rerouted.
I think the problem is the trees. I'm not sure how old the tree is. And it's the lines, it could cost a lot of money to move that telephone pole and move all the lines.
The preservation order was 1999.
Yeah. Yes.
So whilst I support the spirit, the request is related to the risk it presents to those that use the car park. So at some point, that car park was obviously allowed, it's been there for a period of time. So I think it is incumbent on, from my perspective, supporting the need to cut the tree to enable it to be a safer area for those that use it. So much that I would prefer not to, I would support it. And it does look magnificent, looking at the photographs, but yeah. And this is about tree management. This isn't about dealing with a diseased tree or a tree that's going to be removed. It is about taking into account of the environment in which it exists.
I think it was early 1950s, because somebody told me that it was when the site was developed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember, I obviously haven't got that memory, but 1950s, but it does present a hazard to the cars parked nearby, and also it is on that corner. So it is a risk if it gets out of hand. It could, if it came over, it would block off that area.
Yeah, the trouble is to keep planting beautiful trees in the wrong places, don't you, like that one up by the Delphi newspaper.
Car parks in the wrong spaces.
That's correct, that's more like it. So I'm happy to propose the work to go ahead.
Let's work it out. All right, okay, can I say it? You seconded it.
I think I'm on the
Yeah,
side of
whatever.
the tree.
So what we've got, one abstention. We'll go to the vote. An abstention.
Oh,
One
against.
against.
Oh, dissent.
It's not doing any harm, I mean, it's miles from any property.
Yeah. Health and safety might get a conquer on your head.
That's it.
That's to make planning application 25/00885. Proposal erection of rear first floor and partial side extension, rear dormer window and 2 front dormer windows to facilitate a loft conversion with first floor terrace and alteration of windows and doors. Location 91, the Burnham Avenue, Sandwich, CT 30AU. Councillor Miles.
Yeah, when I first looked at this, I thought this would be a typical reasonable extension, but this one, it just seems completely out of place in this post-war council estate. It's possibly elsewhere it would be seen as innovative and modern, but it just seems completely wrong for this property, and an overdevelopment as well with the roof going into the roof and the the thing coming out the side of the building
You
as
see from
well.
the front, don't you?
So that I would object to it.
Well, the bit on the side, which is a toilet, or on street, reminds me a bit of the bridge of a cross channel ferry. Or the overboard toilets of a dhow. But there's a real mishmash of
Oh, yes,
materials
isn't
here.
it?
You've got vertical cladding, you've
Yeah.
got shingles,
Yeah,
you've got vertical spars in
yeah.
front of the window, and then you've got the brick, of course, of the existing house.
Yeah.
This is a departure from the other houses on the estate. I
Not
don't
keeping,
think
is it?
soft conversions have been done elsewhere.
Might be the Australian long drop toilet.
It's similar, the design and styling is similar to the one that we actually allowed down at the Crescent at Dover Road. If you go down there, you'll see, if you know the Crescent, they're all exactly the same houses. We actually supported one that was flagged down there. So I don't know, we need to be very careful because it looks like we're allowing one thing in one area, but another thing in another area, so.
Different sort of areas, that's one like in the state, isn't it?
And the material planning consideration can be design appearance and materials. If we feel that it's not,
Out of character.
yeah, out of character, then we can, if we want to, object.
So we can raise an objection to this, because it's out of character of the style of the building.
Something propose that.
I would propose an objection based on it being materials and the design are out of character with surrounding properties, and it's also an overdevelopment of that property.
Got a second to that? Okay. All in favour of the objection? Got two, an extension? And a no.
An abstention, or an abstention.
So these ones, these.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
so H, I and J, we discussed in
Okay.
last.
Yeah. We go to K then, planning application 25/00980. Proposal change of use of rear store to office building, replacement rear door and windows, location 14 F Street, Sandwich, Kent, CT 139B7. Is that little place behind the car park?
Yeah.
It's just at the back of the Oddfellows, wasn't it? So it'd be nice to see that this was actually put to good use.
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know if you know, if you've ever been in there, it's been a rickety old store for donkeys'
Dumping
years.
area, isn't it?
It has, yeah, dumping area. So I would propose that we do support this. It's not inflicting on anybody else in the area. So I would propose that.
Second that.
Councillor Wilson, all in favour that we accept the bylaws not? Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, thank you. Good one.
Yeah,
This one, yeah, withdrawal planning application, so we've got I2B, planning application 25/00935, proposal Parkway Point to the front elevation, replacement of installation of front range, change of room form to rear port and insertion of windows, location Curfew House, 28 St Peter Street, Sandwich, CT 39BW. It was withdrawn, but then it's become an amended proposal, hasn't it?
It's, yeah, so DDC said there was just an error with how they done it, but that basically it is a live application, but just for the repointing, part repointing of the,
Is that to know then, is it?
well, you can comment on it, it's an application.
Yes.
That's, yeah, we should be.
I think it should be pointed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just for the repointed, so I
Yeah.
propose we do support.
Yeah.
And I'd like to second
Second
that.
that, all in favour of the appointing? Thank you. Item 8, planning decisions, to receive and note latest decisions taken by Dover District Council on new planning applications. Does anyone have a comment on that? Any comments?
So you're not going to read them all out, Mr. Chairman?
No. So you're, we're gonna note, I propose we note them,
I'll second that.
yeah. All in favour, we note? Okay, thank you. Street food, Street furniture applications, receive and consider any application made to DDC in relation to a street furniture consent application under the Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1982, Local Government Miscellaneous Provision Act 1982, street furniture. Please note, none to consider at the time of this issue in the agenda. Everyone happy with me note?
No.
Thank you, that's very cool. Licenses, to consider and note any licensing notices for sandwich, please note, none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. Enforcement, to consider any enforcement notices and issues received from Dover District Council, please note, none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. Correspondence, to consider correspondence relating to planning matters, including notification of appeals against refusal of planning application. Please note, to consider any time of issuing this agenda.
Note that.
Note in the process, yeah, okay. And I was there, like, verbal update from my Dover District Council of Matt. Have you got a
I haven't
report?
received,
Mr. Chairman, it is essential we have some sort of input from
Okay.
either one of the Dover District
Yeah.
councillors, or that we have some sort of report,
Yeah,
because we should have some sort of representation from Dover District Council, the planning committee, because Dover District are the planning approval.
I can change the agenda going forwards, as obviously now Councillor Morehouse has resigned from this particular committee. But both the Dover District Council representatives are emailed a copy of the agenda and every month.
Indeed.
So, but I can maybe add an additional.
even if you get a written report, it'd be somewhat, wouldn't it?
Well, that's, yeah, we
If
should
it kind
have
of said-
something, because there's a large number of ongoing issues,
Yeah,
including 57 New Street and enforcement issues. And those enforcement issues can be picked up and taken back to Dover District Council if we have somebody here to represent us, so.
So the reality is one councillor will not attend, and one has resigned. So what I would ask is whether the chair is willing to write to the two district councillors. The assistant town clerk can support an elder, the new town clerk, to each of them and ask that we would expect and would want to see their report. It can be an exception report. We don't need just words in terms of nothing's happening, but there are key issues in the town, and we would want to hear about any progress on any of those matters, and that can be in writing.
yeah, you're all happy with that? Okay, okay. Oh, that concludes our meeting then. Thank you very much for your attendance.
Thank you, Chair.
I'm well awake now.